let's go ahead and get into Army Navy. Final score: Navy wins 17-16 in a classic Army Navy game. Got to watch this one. It was really interesting. Came down to the wire. Navy actually had to score on fourth and goal from the 8 to take the lead in this game by 1 point in the fourth quarter. So typical classic nail biter in Army Navy. We got everything we wanted in this one. With the quarterback specifically, Blake Horvath and Case Helms both looked like the same player, just on different sides of the ball in this game. We have Blake Horvath with 34 carries, and Case Helms had 25 carries. So just between quarterbacks, we had 59 total carries in this game. That's Army Navy. That's what you love to see. Blake Horvath was 7 for 14, and he had 82-yard passing with a touchdown, a pick. Case Helms 5 for 10, 82 yards, 0 touchdowns and interception. I thought that Army was going to get this one done. I needed them to get this one done. We obviously split picks on this. Going into bowl season, we were just one game apart on our season predictions, Landon, and you tied it up here picking Navy. So, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it feels good. I was down by like 5 games going into the last week of the season before last week. Tied up now, playoffs as the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, obviously November is when it matters most, and I clearly had it going in September and October. My picks were actually pretty solid. I think I was up in like 70% plus for a little while, total picks on the year. But as soon as November rolled around, my feel for the game just took a massive hit. I don't really know what happened. I can't explain it. But we're here now, and Landon's November picks rule the day, and we're tied up. So how we're going to do this is when we get to our playoff predictions later, we can talk a little bit more about it, but it'll come down to a points based system via our playoff picks on who wins our season prediction for the whole year. So that's exciting. Never thought it would come down to literally the last regular season game of the season. We picked like over 150 games. So that's crazy.
I think we had 163 picks.
That's wild. I mean, that's a statistic in and of itself. I mean, you can't make that up. We sure didn't. I promise. So back to Army Navy. As far as the matchup here, it's exactly what I expected. We got triple option offense against triple option offense, and I think the first quarter literally was only two drives from both teams. We had a 8-minute opening drive from Navy with a touchdown, and then Army got the ball back, and I think they possessed the ball into the second quarter.
I think there was only 5 drives in the whole first half.
That's absolutely mental. This might have been the fastest football game of the entire season. I mean, we only had 24 total passes in the whole game, only 12 completions. So, I mean, when both the quarterbacks throw for 82 yards apiece, there's a lot of running the ball. That's to be expected. That's what we thought was going to happen. I figured we were going to get this kind of an outcome. One of my main reasons for taking Army was that I don't really feel like there's a major talent dispersion here. I don't feel like either team is necessarily more physical than the other. But we have a little bit of variance with this game sometimes. Just you think a team's going to be way better than the other team, and then they go into this game and lose. Last year, Navy took care of business, but other than that, it seemed like the team with the worst record that had the least or the least to lose was winning the game. So that's why I chose to go with Army. There wasn't a specific stat where I was like, Army's better, they're going to win. It was really just a feeling, and they come up 1 point short here. So last game of the season, lost by 1 point on the last pick. Absolutely crazy. You can't draw it up better than that. Army actually beat Navy in the turnover battle in this game 2-1. Navy won the time of possession battle 35-25 total minutes. And then Navy topped Army in total yards 271 to 202. So not a lot of offense in this one. I think Army had control of this game early. They were up by as much as a touchdown for a large portion of the second and third quarters. When they got that fumble um, forced on third and goal from the one, I was like, Army's got it in the bag. They're about to make the craziest clutch. And then somehow Navy gets it, and they're 8 yards out on fourth and goal. I was like, God, they have to score. There's like 6.5 minutes left on the clock. I mean, Army's going to run the ball. Like, the clock is going to get run out if they don't score. So they really don't have an option but to go for it. And they had to pass. So you take a triple option team with the game on the line, you have one play, and they have to pass. They have one receiver that they throw it to. That's Eli Heidenreich. I just told myself, I was like, this is going to be a slant to Eli Heidenreich. There's not another play call in the bag here. I just don't know what else they would do unless they want to try to pull off a quarterback draw, which everybody's got their eyes on the quarterback in a triple option offense. So it literally was exactly how I thought it was going to play out. And they throw the slant to Eli Heidenreich. He scores. They take the 1 point lead and they close out the game on, I think it was 4th and 1. They ended up going for it and getting the first down pretty easily. They had a crazy fumble. It was 3rd and 1. They were, I think they did some sort of QB sneak, and Blake Horvath gets hit, and the ball flies up in the air,
And
and
then he
then
catches it and reaches and
he
almost
catches
gets the
it,
first
and
down.
then he falls forward. It looked like he might have gotten it taken away from him after he hit the ground, but like I couldn't see what was happening. I just saw the ball fly up in the air, and then Army said they had it, so I thought Army was going to go down and win the football game with a field goal. They were at midfield if they had gotten it, and I watched the replay. I was like, it was just this close to being a fumble. It was crazy. So this really was a really awesome finish to this game. Really exciting. Couldn't have drawn up a better last game of the season. Army Navy is always really fun. I always joke with my buddies at Army when this game rolls around that Army's gonna either sell out their season, which they had some pretty good seasons as of late, or they're going to upset Navy if Navy's got a really good season going. And the past 2 years they have not won. So sure my Army buddies think that I've cursed Army for picking them the past 2 years, but um, love to see these two teams. The pageantry and the rivalry and the tradition of this game is unmatched. It's not very close. I mean, there are more intense rivalries out there, but I really appreciate the respect both of these teams have for each other. Like they have a tradition at the end of the game that I actually didn't know about until this year. That when the losing team loses the game, they have to go over to the opposing team section and have to sing the alma mater song to the student section, which is all of the cadets. And I think that's really cool. So they do that every year, and all the players have to go do it. So you can imagine losing the game, and then you've got to go over to the team that you just beat and all of their fans, and you've got to sing the alma mater song back to them after you just lost in a really close game. That's not very fun. I wouldn't love that, but I do appreciate the fact that they have that kind of respect for each other, being that it is our military out there on the field playing a sport. I'm glad that they can treat it that way and be respectful about the game. So, really fun one. We'll move on to the next one.